And now we have some members from the Merrimack Shipbuilders Club. And we have Alex, Alan, and Dick with us this morning. And good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just step right up to the microphone, and we'll be good to go. And you guys are you're not building like the big ships, the 15 or 50 footers and things like that, right? You're building little ships.
Scale models of the big ships.
Okay, I just want to make sure. That's what I thought. Yeah. Now, how did you get into that? We're talking with. We'll start with Alex first. How'd you get into building the model ships?
Well, it was my grandmother, as a matter of fact. When I was a little boy, I was the youngest, and my grandmother was stuck with the job of entertaining her little 4-year-old grandson, and we started out with paper boats, and then we moved up to popsicle sticks and toothpicks and so forth, and then it was just all over but the screaming.
Oh, how about that? Now, what about for you, Alan? How'd you start?
Well, I guess I started as a kid too. Like a lot of boys my age, I made plastic model ships, and my pride and joy was the SS United States, which was a passenger liner that was very fast, and put that together. And I always wanted to make a wooden model ship, and didn't really get into that until seriously about 7 years ago. I grew up near the Jersey Shore. I've always loved the sea and ships, and have some good memories associated with that.
Oh, that's neat. So we started with paper ships, and then we went to the plastic ones. Now, how about you, Dick? How'd you get going?
It's been a lifelong desire. When I was, I think, about 8 years old, the fellow that lived behind my father's house in Merrimack restored museum-quality model ships, and I used to get to go into his workshop, and it was just a fascinating place. And it just has laid languishing for years. And finally, I took a course on building a Chesapeake Bay flatty here in Newburyport, and I found that I really, really enjoyed it. So I moved out of all my other hobbies and kind of enjoy the shipbuilding now.
Oh, neat. Now we're talking about the ships that they have the rigging in it, the canvas sails, and all that stuff. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And now,
For some of us. Some of us avoid the rigging when we can.
you can send that out, right? To the professional.
Send it out to Alex.
Really, is that your expertise there, that you can do the rigging?
I do like to do the rigging, yes.
Really? Now, we have a ship here at the WNBP studios that's right behind you, and that has rigging on it, and the little pulleys and the canvas sail and all that stuff. Do you do stuff like that, or you get a little more complicated?
Most of mine are a little more complicated.
Oh.
I put them in bottles.
You should have seen the reaction on Wynn's face just now.
Before or after? So, okay, that's a skill by itself. So how does that work, to build a ship in a bottle?
They go through the neck.
Okay. And then, so do you, if I remember right, I think somebody explained it to me once, they build the ship, slide it through the neck, but there's a string attached. Is that how you do that?
That's more or less the idea.
Oh, okay.
That's one of 4 techniques. That's the Western technique. There's also the Japanese, the modernist, and the dry stick. And most guys who build ships in bottles use a combination of 2 or 3 of those techniques. But the principle is always the same. You make it outside of the bottle, whether it's a ship or a windmill or a tavern scene or the kind of things that people have put in bottles for years, in such a way that you can either take it apart and reassemble it or change its shape, like folding it down. So everything will go through the neck and return to its original shape inside the glass.
That's a long way from paper boats.
It's been a long time since I was 4.
Well, that's neat. What project are you working on now?
The Charles W. Morgan, and it will kill me. It's taking forever.
Oh, how about you, Alan? What are you working on right now?
Right now I'm working on a dory, which is a small fishing boat that were stacked on schooners, and the dories went out and fished and brought them back to the schooner. And there's a famous Winslow Homer painting of a fisherman in a dory with a storm coming on and the ship out in the distance. So I've made a few dories, one for each of my children, which I'm happy to think of them being in their homes, and one for a good friend, and making another one now.
Oh, nice. I can see that going over at the at Lowell's Boatyard. Yeah.
Yes, exactly the kind of model.
Oh, okay. How about that? Now, Dick, are you working on anything right now?
Well, right now, my initial introduction to it was with a gentleman that restored museum quality models. And I was at a different club meeting one time. We had an auction, and somebody had this little Katy, and I didn't know it was a Katy. Most horribly built, poor little boat. It was sad. And when I left, it was in my car. It didn't go at auction, but I brought it home, and I just didn't have the heart to throw it in the fire or just dump it. And I've painstakingly taken it apart and started restoring it. The hull is almost finished now, and I'll start working on the rigging pretty soon.
This is what we would call a rescue.
Yeah, I guess so. So the Merrimack Shipbuilding Club, right?
Merrimack Valley Model Shipbuilding.
Model Shipbuilding Club. Okay, and we have Alex, Alan, and Dick with us this morning. Now, you guys are doing something during Yankee Homecoming, which is going to be underway starting at the end of the week.
Yeah.
We have an exhibit set up for the whole week at the Unitarian Universalist Church from 10 to 4, starting Saturday the 26th through Monday, help me out, what, August 1st?
Actually,
no,
it's
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday, August 1st, and we'll be there. There will be about 60 ship models, ranging in size from the little ones I do to some that are 7-8 feet long, and there will be real live ship modelers there all day, talking about what we've done and what we can do, and models by beginners, models by people who have done it for many years. And we certainly would like to have some people come and visit us.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to be over at the Unitarian Church on Pleasant Street.
Correct.
That's right.
Okay. Now, do you ever do anything with a Custom House Maritime Museum? Like help out with their models or their things that they do, or is that?
We have in the past, yes.
Oh, okay. So they know who to call if a mast falls down.
That's right.
Yes.
You don't call Ghostbusters. You call the Merrimack Valley Model Shipbuilding Club, and they'll come in and do that stuff. Now, how long do the projects take? I would assume it's based on how intricate they are.
The Morgan has taken me a little over 500 hours. One of our members, Tony Malia, spent over 1,000 hours on a model of his Flying Dutchman, which I hope will also be at the exhibit. And some models take under 100 hours. They're the flatties that Alan made and people from Bill Partridge's shop have made, I think take under 100 hours for people to get a feel of what ship modeling is like.
Wow, that seems to be a long time, but maybe not if you know what you're doing, right?
And you do it, bit by bit, an hour or two here and there. Depends on your schedule and what else you have on your plate.
Mm-hmm. I used to try to build the plastic models in the cars, and I know that Wes Pettingill, who does the antique cars, get a kick out of this. I would do the models, but leave the engines out because it got too complicated. I get glue all over everything. But that's just that's something that you learn how to deal with, right?
Right.
It does teach patience.
I would think so. Yeah. Now, when you do a boat, do you have to like shellac it and stain it and do all that stuff too?
Yes. Actually, having worked in plastic as a kid and always wanted to work in wood, I find wood very satisfying because it molds under your hands. If you make a mistake, you could sand out the imperfection. You can decide if you want historical accuracy. You make your boat as similar to the real thing as possible. If you want to change it for aesthetic reasons or any other reasons, you can do that. It's a nice combination of artistic and technical skills And you can vary that combination as you wish.
Now, what about the wood? Is that all one type of wood, or can that vary?
There's a wonderful variety of woods out there. Most of us use woods that have a fine grain. Pine, basswood, very common for bulk stuff. Many of the fruit woods like boxwood, pear, apple are very good woods. Cherry is good. Things we tend to avoid are the ones with the larger grains like oak, many of the mahoganies. Those things are good for stands or cases or something like that, but there are wonderful woods out there.
Yeah, I'm thinking balsa wood, but that's way you're way past that part, aren't you? Yes.
Yeah. The balsa tends to be a little too fragile to work with. We get into the basswood, which has a much more strength to it.
Now, what about the rigging and those pulleys there? Where do you get that? Can you make that, or do you buy those?
It all depends. You can buy all kinds of fittings. You can make all kinds of fittings. It all depends on what you feel like doing. You can use your wife's sewing thread for the rigging lines, or Tony that we just mentioned actually made a rope walk so that the lines on his ship actually look like rope, and it's just a beautiful thing to see.
Wow.
He actually takes pieces of thread and weaves them together to look like rope. I'm just amazed.
Wow. This is a passion, isn't it?
Modern model makers have many opportunities that our ancestors didn't, because there are a lot of wonderful commercial fittings out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have access to the internet to so many materials that they didn't only a couple of generations ago. Bill Partridge's shop, Peel Craftsman, has a number of the fittings for sale, and kits which can really guide you through the basics of the rigging and all the material and fittings that you'll need. And this is all something which a couple of generations ago wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah, and now at the Merrimack Valley Model Shipbuilding Club, do you go with the kits to start, or do you start on your own? You figure it out yourself? How's that go?
It all depends.
Okay.
There are some
what you
some
want to
are
make.
working on their first or second model, or some of us are working on our 105th model.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things always happens whether you start with a kit or you start from scratch, you get to a point where it's really you're doing what you want to do with it.
Okay.
So if you may have started with a kit, but when you're done, it might as well be scratch built.
This is just one of the fascinating things, many fascinating things that folks will be able to take advantage of during Yankee Homecoming in Newburyport, is exhibits like this. So this is going to be at the Unitarian Church on Pleasant Street in Newburyport, and open from what hours?
10 to 4.
10 to 4, starting on Saturday, and running through the following Saturday.
That's right.
Okay, well, it just amazes me. Now, do your ships, except for the one in the bottle, although I assume the bottle floats, but would the ship float in the water as well?
I have a radio-controlled sailboat that does float, and so far hasn't sunk, so I go up to the pond up in Newbury and sail it around there. I figure if I get into trouble, I can walk out and get it. So
on top of the water. That's a whole different hobby too, isn't it? The radio-controlled boats.
yeah, oh yeah. There's fellows in the club that build the radio-controlled boats,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one fellow that's just finished a
Bertram?
Yeah, the Bertram.
Yeah.
It's on the waterfront down here in Newburyport. It's a what, 50-foot yacht?
70 foot
yeah.
fisherman.
Sport fisherman. And he was commissioned to build a model of it, and the model is just fantastic. It hopefully will be at the show.
Huh.
So you can see the model and then walk down to the waterfront and see the real thing.
Oh, that would be great. And talking about commissions, I bet somebody could hire you folks to do a copy of their boat.
From time to time, yeah.
Not me. I'm selfish with my time.
All right, so from 10 till 4, starting on Saturday and running through the following Saturday, it's the Merrimack Valley Model Shipbuilders Club, And the exhibit will be down at the Unitarian Church on Pleasant Street, right by the parking lot. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
All right.
Wayne, can I put in a plug for your Cruise in the 50s from the Legends?
Oh, yeah.
When you're standing on State Street, when that show breaks up, it's like being on the set of American Graffiti with all those hot rods going up the street. It is fabulous.
Oh, that really is that is a sight to be seen. Yeah. The Cruise in the 50s Classic Car Show, that's going to be happening on August 13th. I'm sure Wes Pettingill will talk about it tonight on Calling All Cars.
Likely.
Yeah. And he's I think the last time I left a message with him, because I don't always see him, I left a message with him. He said that they were almost filled up as far as how many cars we can get into the downtown area. Yeah. But yeah, they're all lined up, and it takes one look during the day, has one feel for it, and then at night, you hear the cars fire up and the band's still playing, and it's a whole different feel for it right there. Yeah. All you need a few women in poodle skirts and ice cream sodas, and you're good to go. All right. Well, Alex, Alan, and Dick, thank you very much, and look forward to that. I'll have to make sure to take time to go see all the models that are down there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Win.
Thanks for having us, Win.
Oh, my pleasure. We'll have to get you back and follow up on your projects. It's 8:29 on the Legends WNBP. We'll check in with the news coming up just a couple of minutes.